Hey guys, welcome back to week 7 of the bus build. I think it's week 7, maybe it's week 8. All I know for sure is that I have 9 days. I have 9 days to finish this bus, to pack everything up, to clean things up, because if you've ever built anything or done a big project, you know how messy things can get, before I'm going to be on the road and headed north to Oregon. I know, Tara. I unfortunately have not been able to work much on the bus this week because I just 20 minutes ago closed my work laptop for almost the last time. Today is the last day at my 9 to 5. I just finished up my hours this morning, but I will be coming back in July virtually. I will be back to support the transition and training of the person who is going to replace me. So it's not goodbye forever, but it is goodbye for now, and the timing could not have been more perfect as I head into the last week and 2 weekends of the bus build. Well, past me just decided to skip the intro and get right into the video, I guess, which makes sense because I do have a lot to get done, but that was a bit rushed. Sorry, guys. Today, I am working on a couple of big projects and then other little touches like this, doing my LED light install, some cabinet work, and just getting the rest of the build itself together before working on trim and my systems. Quick note, for my overhead lights, I think I mentioned in my last video that I am not doing any direct overhead LEDs like the puck lights you see a lot of people use, other than in the front area like an entry light and the shower where I want good lighting if I'm showering. What I will be using instead are these 12 volt hardwire connected LEDs. And as you saw, I am building a valance that they are going to hide behind so it will reflect light up, but not like directly on me. Alright, so both light strips are up. Obviously they are not wired yet, but I did make the decision the other day that when I go to do electrical, I'm just going to have probably a full day just dedicated to hooking up all the loads, connecting my water pump, my float sensor, my lights, my outlets, just so that way I stay like in that mindset on that track as opposed to bouncing around and having to get a bunch of tools out throughout the week. And so for now, they're just gonna live up there with some wires dangling down, and I will be taking care of actually connecting them later this week. In the meantime, I could go 2 different directions right now. I have a lot of stuff to still get done, but really in terms of like smaller projects, things I have to build or put together still, in my mind, I need to work on the kitchen and the shelves there. I need to work on the little wardrobe behind me, putting those shelves in and making a door. And then I need to make my entryway cabinet area. So a lot of cabinetry type stuff. And I think that's where I'm going to shift next. Because I want to get the building stuff out of the way, like the whole build stuff out of the way, I think I'm going to focus on this cabinet up front in the entryway, and then I will make all of the shelves at one time so structures are finished being built.
Oh my love, you're such a fragile thing, I know. And with the winter comes the ice, the snow, but I'm here to hold.
Okay, so I'm hoping that this stays in place. It's not secured right now, but this is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would because I've decided to do something different than I planned. This is what that corner is looking like. So it is going to take me until tomorrow to finish this because I need to figure out these angles and then also this piece here because I'm going to try to straighten out this like offset that came with the bus or that the bus came with. So I think that I like this a little bit better. It just, I don't know, you can really tell like how much more space there is, and especially because this is going to be like a shower, Tara's den, all of that. I think having more space right here is going to help. And Tara is stealing my spacer. So I'm actually gonna call it a night. I think I need to stop saying that I want to get something done, because whenever I say that, I always change my plans, or like something happens where it doesn't get done, but that's fine. I think this is going to be worth the time, the extra time that it's going to take to make a couple of angle cuts as opposed to having it straight on. It's gonna open up the space a lot, and there's still gonna be a ton of space in the front for storage. So anyways, I will see you guys in the morning to finish this up and then move on to the next thing. Please work. Oh, this is gonna be hard.
Don't worry about the cold just yet. The trees haven't started to shed. Just feel the sun.
Going ham on this, because if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I haven't shot through the back, so that's good. But if it is working, and I need this thing to be really secure because I'm clumsy and will likely be running into this often. Probably seems like overkill what I'm doing, but if you've ever ridden in an RV, honestly any vehicle on a bumpy road, having things super, oh please don't go through the back, amazing. Having things super secure is so important, so that way you don't, because things will break over time. Like even this, if I glued it and screwed it and everything else, over time it will break down. It's just the nature of it. Alright, so now that I don't have to hold it anymore, you can see better the angle that I was working with and what I was trying to accomplish. Standing back here, it just opens up the space more, 1. 2, when I go to walk out, being clumsy, this being much more open than if it were straight like that is going to allow me to like turn this corner and not constantly hit this. Will I still hit it? Most likely, but hopefully not as bad as I otherwise would have. And you can see that I nailed the heck out of it. I will be puttying all of that, so you won't be able to see that I put like 30 nails in it, but after the glue sets, and even now, it's going to be pretty sturdy. And then I'm going to put a front piece on, which will also add strength to this, and probably even a bottom, or at least bottom supports that are hidden in the floor, like underneath where my shoes are stored. But I'm pretty happy with how this is coming so far. So to seal this butcher block, I'm going to be matching the kitchen. I used Danish oil, which I've heard good things about. I personally did not use it in the van last time. I used like a stain, which was supposed to seal it basically. And then every month or so, I would go through and I would reseal it using a food grade sealer. And that worked really well for me. I never had any issues with cracking, splitting, anything like that. I knew that it was food safe. And this is also supposed to be that. So I guess it's really just the difference in color. My other counters were this rich, not quite espresso, but like a dark brown color. And this one is obviously, if you can see, a little bit more golden. I don't think either is good or bad. It's just everything in this bus is more golden. So that's why I chose this, partially at least. I think that turned out really nicely. Okay, last piece. I'm going to stain this guy, and then I'm going to see if I can get this all secured.
I'm used to give all I have. I'm used to get nothing back. Wherever I go, it's the same.
That piece is solid. I'm just gonna repeat that process now with these two, and then it should be ready for an eventual sand and fill. I'm not gonna do that today. I have a ton of other patches that I have to do. So again, I'm gonna try to batch that work so that way I'm just more efficient.
Nothing's right. Would you hold me tight in the rain? Even as we're having a fight.
Okay, now that it's secured down and actually really sturdy, I'm really happy with how sturdy it came out. I'm going to do my best to fill the gaps, but let's take a look at it before. As you can see, There is a pretty good sized crack just where the saw blade was a little bit uneven and these two pieces meet. So I'm going to use this color changing wood filler. It starts out pink and we will see what I can do about that. So if all goes to plan, this transition should come out really well. All right. I think that went really well. I mean, can you see it? Sure. Having a hard time finding it with my finger, but like, I honestly can't really see the line. Yes, you can see it up here, and yep, you can see the one that goes across the back, but I think with a quick sand, like, that's gonna be hidden with the plant in the back there. This, if someone's really looking that close and wants to give me shit, whatever. I don't care. I'm happy with how this came out, especially considering what I had to work with. So, project mostly done. I need to put some switches here, put my entryway switch for that light right here, and then obviously put shelves in, but I'm doing shelves and electrical a different day. So we are all done. And honestly, I think this is even more satisfying. I finally have a side table. I think what I'm going to do next is install my table that's going to be at this bench area. And then the only other thing I'll have to do with this is to cap the top here and then to get cushions eventually. So the bench will basically be done. I mean, basically be done after this last addition. And it also gets it to a point where if all else I do is put this cap piece on, I could totally work from the bus very comfortably moving forward. I am going to be installing this baseball bat looking object. This is a Lagoon mount. I talked about it in a past video. Originally, I was thinking about going a different DIY direction because I didn't really want to spend the money on this. But after doing research, I realized that in order to make something that is as sturdy, safe, well-crafted, and strong, honestly, to fit a butcher block or to hold a butcher block, I would probably end up paying almost as much for the material as myself. And then I also wouldn't have that knowledge of, you know, how much weight it can safely hold because I'm not an engineer and I'm not going to do those calculations myself. All you have to do is mount this plate on a flat surface. So I'm going to be mounting it to the bottom of my bench and then mount the tabletop on top of this piece. And so as you can see, this, if you haven't seen one of these before, allows a table to swivel around. This arm moves as well, which means that this table will be able to move wherever I want it, whether that's over the couch entirely and out of my way, out in the middle if I have people over and I want to have it like in the center of the space, or just taken off entirely if I decide for whatever reason that I don't want to have a desk that day and maybe I just want to use the couch space. I could take this whole thing off, put it on my bed, put it in the garage, and have it be out of sight. So what I need to do in order to start this process is to actually go cut down my butcher block, because right now I will take you guys to go show you. Let's not hit the tripod. Right now, my butcher block piece, and this was a free piece, so that's really a big perk, but it is freaking massive. This is roughly 35 by 45 inches, and butcher block's not light. This is about 1.5 inches thick and very heavy. I would estimate probably 40 pounds right now. So there are a couple of different ways that I can go about this. I can router out the back, which would probably take a few hours, but it would get the job done and leave all the butcher block. I can cut this down way smaller than I want to make it lighter weight, which would be a bummer because I want to maintain as much counter space or table space as possible. And the other option that I see is to trim this down so the butcher block itself is maybe like 3 to 6 inches smaller than I want it to be, and then to trim out the sides using pine. I do kind of like the sound of that. I think it would make it more interesting, a little bit more custom. It would reduce the weight, and then I also have pine around the rest of the bus, kind of mixed in with the other types of woods that I purchased and used. So maybe that'll look cool. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and test out a couple of these options before deciding, and then hopefully I will at least get it dry fit tonight. I won't be sealing it because it is really cloudy and kind of cold, so I don't think it's gonna set up well, but I at least want to get it mounted. I should really wear better shoes.
I bet it's getting cold, 'cause I don't have you, don't have us, at least not anymore. You said you had to go away just to figure out who you are, and I'm in this empty house with your pictures on my wall, but I don't have you, I don't have us.
So effectively, this is how it would sit. Actually, even a little bit more like this, just because this plate should be mounted as close to the center as possible. I don't hate it. I think having some open seating, like, that's not a problem, but it would be nice if it's gonna be this size, if it was at least a little bit lighter. So I have an idea to take some of this wood out and to maintain or even pick up an inch or two. But the problem is I'm not 100% sure that it's actually gonna make it lighter. So I'm gonna go weigh this really quickly, simply because Lagoon has a 50-pound limit just for safety, and that includes anything that's on top as well. I wanna make sure that this is well under 50 pounds, and I'm just not confident that it is. I think it's probably 40-ish, and it would be great if I could get this down into the 30s at the most. So I'm gonna go weigh this really quick, and again, I think it's a little bit too heavy, so I'm probably gonna have to chop it up, but I have a cool idea. Well, it turns out I am just weak. It's actually only 25 pounds, which is much lighter than I thought it was, but it feels super heavy. And let me set you guys down. There we go. So considering all of my options, I'm a little bit nervous to try this, but I do think it's going to come out cool. It will be a little bit lighter. It'll also match the rest of the bus and be a little bit more custom. It's gonna take some time, and I won't be able to finish it tonight, so you guys won't see it until next week, but I think I'm gonna go for it. And essentially, I'm not trying to be mysterious, I'm going to do an inlay and a border with pine and hope that it turns out as cool as I'm thinking it will. Maybe it won't, who knows, but I think that I can make it look pretty nice. The biggest thing is just going to be getting everything lined back up and getting the glue to hold, but I think with some nails and some patience, it will work out. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that, but like I said, it's gonna take a bit. It's gonna take some time for it to dry, for the poly to set, and for me to get it mounted up. And so I think I'm gonna end today's video here. Obviously not a lot got done this week, which is a little bit frustrating, but there was a good reason. I didn't plan on it happening, but I know that this week, if today is any indication, I will be able to get a lot more done. I have obviously a lot on the to-do list, but I think I can do it. I know I can at least get my systems done and things wrapped up, but we'll see, I guess, if I can get the whole project together. Next week is going to be a sprint. I need to be completed by Sunday. I'm taking one full day off next week to spend some time with my mom for a late Mother's Day, which I'm really looking forward to. And I don't want to be like wrapping things up on Sunday night. I still need to pack. I still need to clean up this disaster. There's a lot to get done. And with that being said, the video, as much as it is a priority, I have other things that I absolutely have to finish by a certain date. And so this video, next week's video, might come out on Monday or Tuesday. I will do my best to get it in on time. And of course, once it's finished, once I'm on the road, a tour will be coming. So you guys will get to see how all the pieces came together. And I'm really hoping that it turns out well. All right, I'll see you guys next Sunday or Monday.
Try to